Hi everyone, this is Team Dirt Therapy, and before the heat wave begins, it's really nice this morning. It's not supposed to be a heat advisory until about 1 o'clock this afternoon, so I am trying to get some early gardening in before the heat wave hits. Today's goal is to clean up the Zephyrine Drouin roses. I had mentioned in a previous video that I needed to tie them up, but I not only need to tie them up, I also have to cut the canes that are above my head that did not put on any growth for the season. So I came out in early spring and did a pruning job on the roses. And of course, I was trying to go by what I thought would grow, continuously grow on the old wood. Well, it didn't grow all the way up the old wood. It grows on new wood, and it has the grows on some of the old wood, but it doesn't go all the way to the top. So it grew about 5 feet of it. It brought out new leaves and blooms, but the remaining part above the arbor did not do well. So I'm just going to turn the camera around and I'll show you what I'm talking about and what I'm planning on doing today. Here's the Zephyrine Drouin roses, and as you can see, they are kind of trailing on the ground, and that was what I was talking about, wanting to get them tied up before it's too late, because once the canes get really hard, they stay like that, and then you're cutting them out. Now, not all of them will be tied up. Some of them will be removed because I don't want it to go out that direction anyway. But what I'm really also talking about is on here on the top. And I know it's a little bit harder to see, but some of the canes grew up towards the top, but then some of them left these bare. Like they didn't grow, they didn't continuously grow up the arbor. So they stopped probably about, about 6 feet, 5 to 6 feet, because I'm 5'3", and a couple of these are a little taller than me. That one is definitely taller than me. I'd say that's probably the 6-foot one that we're talking about. But I need to come in and just really clean these up. Now, I'm not going to be able to get all the way to the top today just because I don't have my ladder accessible, and I did tie them. So I was trying to be proactive and have it to where it was going to be able to handle it, but I put some like soft ties up there at the top to hold down those until they could bend the way that I wanted them to. So I was really trying to train them, but it didn't work out that way because of no growth on them. I thought it would have been really pretty if they had been all the way up, but I just don't think that they climb that tall. So I'll remember for next year to just hard prune them all the way down, because I did do a lot of pruning on them, and they really had a very, very good show of flowers. In fact, I even have a few remaining flowers there at the bottom. So I just really want to just work on getting this cleaned up, and so we can start walking through this area again. Another thing that I need to do too is, after I lift all of these up, I need to put more mulch down all the way to the brick. That way it can be a finished courtyard area. One of the places that I'm talking about. So when I came in the spring, I tied this one right here. I tied it to, because it was going all the way up and over the arbor. But I just came in and just cut this piece off here up at the top. But if you look down a little bit further, you'll see that this cane here does have some green growth on it. So it only went up so far and then shot out shoots out this direction, and inward. So I don't want to cut all the way down. I just want to cut to one of the nodes, and then I can get rid of that dead stuff. Now the Zephyrin Druids are a mostly thornless variety. However, there are some thorns in it, just tiny little thorns. So it is always best to try to use gloves if you feel like you need to. I've been going in there and I got poked a couple times, but it's not like normal roses where every second you're getting poked. So just to take this one with a little bit of caution, I went with the Zephyrin Druid in this area because I didn't want my grandson to get poked every single time he walks through this area here. And really what I'm trying to accomplish is to have a beautiful view in both directions. Since I have plenty of zip ties that were on some of the branches going up towards the top of the arbor, I'm just going to reuse them and tie up some of the really good canes that I do want to keep. For example, this is one that I really want to keep. This has two different canes, two different branches coming from it, and you can see all in the new growth towards the top. I use these soft ties, just twist them on and very gently. It is not going to hurt the plant, but it's going to do some great work on training these branches. Now they are done blooming for the season, except for a few, but I just love the way everything ends up looking every season. Some of them I don't have to tie up because they have a natural curve to them already, and because they're very bendable, you can come in here and shape them and train them the way that you want to. Especially these ones that are really small, they work great. Unfortunately, not all of them are going to be you're able to train back in. Sometimes they just have a mind of their own, and that's when you need that tie. Now, unfortunately, I did have to take this full branch. So this is the branch over on this side that was kind of taking up a majority of the space here on the ground. It was getting to that point where it was not flexible, and there was no way I was going to get it trained back up to the arbor. So now I'm going to really move through cutting all of these and tying them up. doesn't that look so much better? Oh gosh, I think it looks great. Now the only thing is I could not reach those up at the top. My husband's gonna have to do that. But I got the mulch down in this area. I got them all trimmed up and tied up, and I think they look absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so it's all done. The rose tying and pruning project is complete, and I got it all cleaned up, so now it's nice and beautiful. So here is the view from our pathway from going into our courtyard, and I think it just looks so beautiful now. It's all finished, and I'll just come in with the blower and just blow off the brick, but it looks so much better. Really needed it. It really needed that freshness. But the view that I'm really trying to establish is coming from the courtyard to the garden avenue. So I'm going to turn the camera around and I'm going to show you what my favorite view is. Sorry guys, I have morning sun and I am facing east, so it's going to be a little bright. But what my goal has always been is once we got the arbor in, that I wanted something to be centrally located to where it was going to be framed inside. And so that ornamental peach tree is going to be a perfect accent. And as it gets older, it's going to get bigger and wider, and then it is going to be a beautiful picture in this picture frame arbor. So that concludes today's video on trimming those roses. I think that it worked out really great, getting them all tied up and nice and clean and finishing off the mulch in that area. So just thank you for joining, and we will see you next time. Have a great garden day.